In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, peace be upon you. Apologies, I speak slowly. To speed up this video, click on Settings, bottom right of this screen, then click on Speed and select a suitable speed. This video will discuss whether shutting down borders will stop terrorism. To answer this question, we need to know who is responsible for terrorism. Well, US, UK and Israel are terrorist states. This is a documented fact. They have conducted terrorist activities, funded and trained terrorists globally. And here I've got an article talking about what Jill Stein has said, that US funds and arms Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Now, if you're a person, a British national or an American national, this is not directed at you, it is directed at your leadership. So some people get offended, but I'm not targeting the people, I'm talking about the people in power and also those who support those in power. Now, whichever country they invade, terrorists seem to become more prevalent. Whether it was Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iraq, Libya and Syria, these are recent examples. Now, it isn't by accident that it is happening. They are funding and training terrorists, and that is why it becomes a problem. The terrorists are the leadership of these countries. The terrorists are those in power in these countries. The terrorists are those with excessive wealth in these countries, including bankers, corporate elite and politicians. And I've got some pictures of such examples attached to this photograph of terrorist training. Personally, I don't believe Bill Gates is as corrupt as he is made out to be. I believe he was being bullied by the gutter elite, Gog and Magog, to promote vaccines, and he actually tried to make it obvious that the vaccines were harmful. I do think if he was trying to deceive, he would have tried to hide the purpose of vaccines a bit more. Now, if you agree that the terrorists are in positions of power, you will realise that shutting down borders will not protect you from terrorists. The gutter elite, Gog and Magog, anti-Christian, satanic Hasid that have been photographed in this picture, okay, they spread terrorism within UK, US, Israel to fulfill their agenda of enslaving people. Sometimes they use prisoners by offering a sort of freedom. Sometimes they use mental health patients or individuals addicted to drugs. They may even kidnap children and mind control them. This is actually what Israel has been doing in Africa and the Middle East. And they are mafia drug warlords, and this is why they need people protecting their poppy crop in Afghanistan so that they can get more people addicted to drugs and get people to do what they want them to do for the sake of drugs. Right. They can also use hoaxes if they are lucky, or genuine false flags. Again, if you agree that terrorists are in positions of power, you will realize that shutting down borders will not protect you from terrorists. Shutting down borders is a futile exercise. Those in power are criminals. They need to be arrested and tried for crimes against humanity. In order to achieve this, people have to be prepared to be imprisoned for the cause or die for the cause. The cause is true freedom and true justice. Now, the same way the people of India-Pakistan opposed the British gutter elite Gog and Magog anti-Christian satanic Khanzir and kicked them out of their country, that is the way to oppose this super rich clan. We can also remember Margaret Thatcher's poll tax. People refused to pay and went to prison for it. We have to do the same sort of thing. The more people that refuse to pay certain taxes, the more people the more problems the rulers will have, because they cannot imprison everyone. And even if they try to imprison everyone, if the police and the army started opposing them, then they would be destroyed. This is how the British rule in India-Pakistan was destroyed. It was Indian soldiers called sepoys. They revolted against the British masters. Now, when they revolted, the rebellion was crushed, as it says in that inset picture. Now, it also says here, you see, this is where information is mixed with disinformation. It says the largely Hindu Indian National Congress formed to win home rule from Britain. The Muslim League formed to create a separate independent state for India's Muslims. Now, it was both the Hindus, Muslims and Sikhs, all of them, okay, as a united people were able to oppose the British rule. And it's false to say that it was mainly the Hindu Indians, because the Hindus, you know, they were happy to have, no offense to the Hindus, but they were happy under the rule of the Muslims for 1,000 years. I think generally they were happy for someone to rule over them, unless they were a complete evil oppressor, as the British gutter elite, Gog and Magog, anti-Christian satanic Khanzir turned out to be, you know, really extracting high taxes and taking food from the poor even when there was famine, causing millions to starve and die. And this is why I truly believe there is no real starvation until the gutter elite manufacture situations like they do in Africa. They enforce the poor to pay debts to the West, to the International Monetary Fund and to the World Bank, causing these people to starve. They manufacture starvation. So the only way is to pray for the help from Allah. But, you know, in English we say God helps those who help themselves. And there's a verse in the Quran, and I quote it. It says, Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. So we have to unify and not hate each other on the grounds of colour and religion and other differences. We need to really realise who are the most evil people and the oppressors and the terrorists in the world and target them. As always, I pray that Allah guides us, protects us and gives us peace and forgiveness. I pray that Allah guide the Gog and Magog, Satanist, Antichrist and the devil to the straight path. I pray that all creation unite for truth and justice, and that we as humans humble ourselves to the superior intellect of the Creator. I pray that the children are a source of peace for parents, and parents be a source of peace for children. And I pray that I be a source of peace for all. May I achieve martyrdom by defending the vulnerable. Allahu Akbar and Allah Hafiz.